It was a tale of two halves up in Ames for the Red Raiders as they struggled mightily in the first half, but dropped 50 on the Cyclones in the second. In the end, it wasn't enough. And in today's video, we'll recap the game up in Ames for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Take a look ahead and discuss Pop Isaacs and his recent struggles for Texas Tech men's basketball. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And before we get into today's recap video, I want to hear from you guys. Give me your one word to describe this Texas Tech loss at number 10 Iowa State. Now, listen, they didn't have Warren Washington, arguably their second best player, but we'll talk about the replacements here in just a minute, and Robert Jennings and KyeRon Lindsay, how they actually had a really good game, but really what dug the Red Raiders in terms of too deep of a hole was that first half where it was, let's just call a spade, a putrid performance on both sides of the basketball floor for the Red Raiders. All right, let's jump into this and talk about it because it really was a tale of two halves for the Red Raiders. They shot 1 of 10 from 3 in the first half, looked completely lost, had an excessive amount of turnovers in this one. But on a positive note, Robert Jennings and KyeRon Lindsay actually looked pretty damn solid as a group, or I guess I should say as a pair in this one, in terms of replacing Warren Washington. They had 19 points. Robert Jennings was the second leading scorer on the Red Raiders behind Joe Toussaint in this game with 13 points. But Lindsay and Jennings actually combined for 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. You'll take that every day of the week. I thought they were actually really, really good for Texas Tech. Now, as I mentioned, Joe Toussaint did lead the way in scoring for the Red Raiders with 16. But I think overall, one of the main things that we need to talk about here today is this. There is a clear-cut best player on this team for Texas Tech. It's very clear. There's no more debate. His name is Darrion Williams. He is the best player on this Texas Tech roster right now. He went into Ames and just had another double-double, his third straight double-double. Now, he did miss a shot in this game, so I guess, trajectory's down. Kidding, obviously. But the main issue in this one for Texas Tech, when you look at it, was simply the fact that they had really bad, and I mean really bad turnovers. I'm talking about where middle school coaches get upset, let alone high-level D1 coaches. Okay, there was at least 3 by my count passes that just went through the hands of a Texas Tech Red Raider for a turnover. No Iowa State player was close to it. It just went right through the hands of a Texas Tech player and out of bounds. There was 3 of them, okay? And here's the thing, and you can see it at the bottom of your screen real quick. Texas Tech on this season is averaging 10.6 turnovers per game. They had that in the first half, and then they had 16 total against Iowa State in this matchup. The Cyclones, give them credit for this actually, 28 points off of those turnovers, okay? So let's just say you go down to the 10.6 turnovers, and let's just say, you take away what is that per turnover there? They're averaging around 1.4 points. There's your difference in the ball game. I'm not saying it's as simple as that, but that's a key metric to look at. Texas Tech was abysmal when it came to taking care of the ball, specifically in the first half. In the second half, totally different team. Completely different team. And you got to give credit to Grant McCaston and these guys for going in there and not giving up. And actually, this lead for Iowa State got up to 19 at one point in the second half. Texas Tech led in this game for less than 30 seconds. Not ideal. But you look at everything for Texas Tech and you think about it, does the score dictate how well you played from an overall standpoint? No, but if you look at strictly the second half, they were the better team than Iowa State. There's not a debate on that front. But the first half was so bad for Texas Tech, and there were no adjustments made whatsoever, that they were so far behind the 8 ball that a 50-piece against a team in the Iowa State Cyclones that averages 62 points allowed per game was not enough. And that's really what it came down to in this one for Texas Tech. All right, before we get into talking about Pop Isaacs, be sure to hit that like button, turn on that notification bell, and before you turn on the notification bell, hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on not only Texas Tech men's basketball all year long, but Texas Tech football as well. Spring football, spring camp about to ramp up for the Red Raiders. We'll have daily updates for you guys on that, not to mention all the Big 12 content we'll have here in the next month leading up to March Madness, talking about which teams are locks, the power rankings, and looking at each and every Big 12 team and their bracket outlook. So if you want to stay in the know and join one of the most engaging communities, not only in the Texas Tech space, but in the Big 12 space, you know what to do. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. All right, let's talk about Pop Isaacs. He's streaky, man. And right now he's down bad. Let's just call it what it is. Over his last 3 games, Pop Isaacs is 5 of 33 from the field. That's 15.1%. He's 2 of 18 from 3. That's 11%. Now, over his last 5 games, he's shooting 20% from the field and 20.5% from 3. He also has 21 assists to 18 turnovers. I'm not bringing this up to crap on Pop Isaacs. I'm not. I'm trying to figure out a solution, right? Just thinking out loud and trying to hear from y'all as well. And my thought process is this. Pop Isaacs has to play, okay? And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear just because of these last few games. But Pop Isaacs is one of those guys where he can do this, and then the next 5 games, he looks like a first-team All-Big 12 guy. And again, these downs are really, really frustrating. It's a roller coaster ride. I totally get it. But who else are you going to give more minutes to? You're already giving Chance McMillan a ton of minutes, right? You're going to play Lamar Washington more minutes? Not a knock on Lamar, but Pop is more effective and creates more for the Red Raiders in a multitude of ways in terms of spacing, shooting, playmaking, whatever it may be. Pop has that, right? And again, I understand those numbers are very, very frustrating. A lot of people have been asking me this. Is it time to consider putting Chance McMillan in the starting lineup? I don't think so. And the reason being is this, the little depth that Texas Tech has, Chance McMillan is that spark plug off the bench, and that he's been consistent. I want to say this, though. They have to figure out ways to get Pop Isaacs looks like they do KyeRon Walton. And what I mean by that is this. Pop Isaacs is a good playmaker. There's no doubt about that. Does he risk it in terms of trying to fit a pass into a lane that he probably shouldn't? Sure. But sometimes that works. I think you have to get Pop more catch and shoot opportunities like you do KyeRon. And that's difficult because, listen, Big 12 teams are not game planning against KyeRon Walton, right? That's not the center of attention for most teams. Most teams, it's Pop Isaacs. Okay, he is the main guy that teams are game planning for because they know if he gets hot, he can single-handedly beat us, i.e. look what he did against BYU, okay? And that's the thing, is Pop Isaacs can do that. Now, Darrion Williams, I still stand by what I said right now. He's the best player for Texas Tech. I don't think that that's a debate. I'm not panicking on Pop Isaacs. What I want to see happen is them run more of ball screens and staggered screens like they do for KyeRon for Pop to get Pop more in space and allow him to have more catch and shoot opportunities. Because I guarantee you this, once Pop sees a couple go in, you're going to forget about this 5-game stretch. That's what's going to happen. He's that kind of player, okay? And so I think Texas Tech needs to find some creative ways, and this coaching staff has proven time and time again, that they can do that for players. Now is the time to do it for Pop Isaacs. So, again, am I panicking on Pop right now? No, because he's a streaky player. That's just what happens. This streak right here is, let's just call it what it is. It's awful. But you've also seen the great Pop Isaacs where he literally carries you to victories. It's a roller coaster ride. I get it. Not a lot of people like that type of player, but that's what Pop is. I'm cool with it. I think that that's just who he is, and Texas Tech has to adjust sometimes, and sometimes maybe that's a little less minutes, whatever it may be, or putting him more off the ball. I want to see them put him in a position to succeed off the catch and shoot, specifically off of screens and staggered screens more specifically, because I think he could thrive off of that and really get back into a groove into this final stretch for the Red Raiders where they're going to need Pop Isaacs. Simple and plain. Pop Isaacs allows Texas Tech to reach their ceiling. Without him, they can't. They can't reach their ceiling without Pop Isaacs. It's just a fact. All right. Texas Tech, next up for the Red Raiders, versus TCU at home on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. That's a big one. Both teams tied at 7-5 in the conference. Texas Tech just needs to hold serve at home, and they should be in Joey Brackett's actually said the next win in Big 12 play will secure a Texas Tech tournament bid. I think they're already kind of in it, if you ask me, but everybody has an opinion on that front, and I'm sure y'all do as well. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you one more time, if you want to stay in the know on Texas Tech men's basketball and football all year long and join one of the most engaging Texas Tech communities here on YouTube and the largest Texas Tech community here on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech men's basketball and football all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.